tomorrow, then move into coastal Georgia and the Carolinas. Rick Damigella reporting.
And it is that same system that will be heading for us here across the Palmetto State, bringing us those wet and windy conditions. So we have issued a first alert weather day for all of the region tomorrow due to those rounds of heavy rain and gusty winds that are expected. And it looks like it's going to be with us throughout the entire day tomorrow, as the rain's going to move in later on tonight, just after midnight, and stick with us all the way till late tomorrow evening. So we could be looking at about 24 straight hours of rain here across much of the Midlands. So just kind of prepare on a wet and soggy day, and that is going to add up to some pretty significant rainfall totals across a good portion of the region. Here in the Midlands, we're looking at 2 to 3 inches for most of us. Farther to the coast, you can see 3 to 5 inches possible, while up in the upstate, maybe not quite as much, about 1 to 2 inches though still. And so with all this rain falling across not only us, but the entire state, we will be looking at the possibility for some minor flooding concerns as we look at the excessive rainfall risk. You can see a good portion of the Midlands all the way down to the beach is under that slight risk for that minor flooding possibility due to all that heavy rain that is expected across the region for our Sunday. So just kind of keep that in mind, especially those typical spots that like to collect all the water when we get these heavy rain events. Those are going to be the typical spots that we likely could see some minor flooding tomorrow, which does include the 5 Points area. So just got to keep that in mind as you're out and about trying to do some of that activity tomorrow. As for the severe risk, that looks to be much closer to the coast from Charleston to Myrtle Beach. That's where a slight risk is, and then a little bit of a marginal risk as you head up towards Orangeburg, Manning, and Sumter. But for most of the Midlands, not expecting any severe weather. It's going to be confined just to the coast, where they could see some wind gusts 60 miles per hour, maybe a brief spin-up tornado as they're a little bit closer to that center of low pressure. But you can see the severe risk for us looks to be fairly small, if any at all. Currently, though, we have dry conditions. Clouds have moved in across a good portion of the region, and it's fairly comfortable. Temperatures still hanging on to the upper 50s to low 60s, as it's still 63 in Orangeburg. It's 60 degrees in Columbia, 57 right now in Sumter, 59 degrees in Manning. Across the state, we've had those clouds fill in. There's been a little bit of some light rain down towards Hilton Head earlier today, and over into Georgia. We've seen some light rain now pushing into the upstate, but we do think later on tonight, here's our system down across the Gulf of Mexico, as Florida is just getting hammered by heavy rain right now. All this is going to be slowly shifting to the north and eventually heading for us here in South Carolina. So let's break down the timing. You can see over the coming hours, we should be dry. So if you're out there getting dinner, no issues there. But by the time we head towards midnight, that's when the light rain will start to be pushing in across the region and then really fill in during the overnight hours. So waking up tomorrow morning, likely looking at widespread moderate to heavy rains continuing into the afternoon, with wind gusts up to about 30 miles per hour. You see the darker shades of the yellows and orange sticking with us into the afternoon. So that moderate to heavy steady rain continues, with gusts even picking up close to 40 miles an hour as the low gets closer to us. Rain will start to taper off a little bit towards dinner time, but it's not until midnight that we finally see that rain begin to clear out. But the winds stick with us. Gusts up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour stick with us even into our Monday. So we'll have some breezy conditions behind it. So first alert weather day with that rain and wind, with temperatures in the mid-50s tomorrow. 58 breezy on Monday, and then we turn cooler Tuesday and Wednesday with that sunshine. Highs upper 40s to low 50s, and morning lows